that it would be really cool for you all to know some of the really creative folks that we have in the center. And so I started thinking about some different people, and one of them popped to mind, and then another one. And these are like some of the most introverted people that we have at our center. So I thought, well, let's make it a panel so they feel better all being up here together, with one another, fellow introverts, and I'm right there on the cusp, I'm in the middle. I can lean either way very easily. So I understand the plight of the introvert, and I can turn it on when I need to as an extrovert. Um, but I'm right there in the middle. But these folks, I love them so much, and I'm so excited for you to get to know some of the people in our community. And if you're a creative and I missed you this time, we'll get you up here another time. So let me start. Here's your warning. Here's your warning. We're going to start out with a song. Let's hear some music. Does the panel? Why don't the panel come on up? Come on up, panel. Come sit down with me. And I'm going to introduce our first present. No, they're not assigned seats. Sit wherever you'd like, wherever you'd like. And Cole is there. Cole didn't run off. Oh, they left you. So I'll sit over here, or you scoot over there. Okay, that's good. So let me tell you about this first one. We're going to hear a song that was written by Miss Amanda over here. Amanda Clark-Rudolph, originally from Vermont, settled in Ocala in 2014. She is the author of 4 poetry collections and is a blogger. Today, she homeschools her 2 sons who are out there. Just letting you know, those are her boys out there. While she curates content for 2 neighborhood magazines, she blends creativity with technology, collaborating with AI to craft spiritual poetry and music based on her ongoing healing journey, weaving her love for words and sounds into projects that celebrate imagination, connection, and the evolving relationship between human artistry and artificial intelligence. So right there on the cutting edge of things. And why don't you go ahead and play it, Rich? It's so quiet. I know. What's that? Oh, there's a slide. That's right. Oh, oops, that's not the slide. But while Rich is finding the music there, I'll just go ahead with this quote from Ernest Holmes. He says, our impulse to create comes from the. One second. Can you stop it for a second, Rich? That's not it, is it? That wasn't the song anyway. Keep looking. So welcome, ladies. Look at our travelers are back. Hello. Thank you for joining us this morning. They must be exhausted. Yes. So here is a quote from Ernest Holmes on creativity. He says, our impulse to create comes from the original creative spirit which is in, around, and through us. The urge to live creatively comes from the urge of the divine imagination, which pushes itself out through us into self-expression. This is our nature. We neither make it so or we can't change it. In other words, it is part of us to create. When the Bible says that we're created in the image and likeness of the Creator, that's it. It's not that we look like God, it's that we're here to create. And so I just thought that was a cool quote. Are we ready, Rich? All right.
I used to think peace was a single sound, voices in harmony gathering round, a warm, massive circle all singing along, smiles in agreement, one sweet song. But life had a way of teaching us deep, the kind of truths you don't learn in sleep. Peace ain't one song, it's a sacred tune, many hearts dancing under one moon. Not a perfect ring, but a woven sky where truth can live and so can mine. Let the circles turn, let the voices rise. Peace is freedom in each other's eyes. Now I believe peace is layered and wild, a bit like the soul of a storm-born child. Messy and sacred, a tapestry wide. Not all in step, but side by side. Not needed match, not asking for show. Just holding a space where all can grow. Peace ain't one song, it's a sacred tune. Many hearts dancing under one moon. Not a perfect ring, but a woven sky where truth can live and so can mine. Let the circles turn, let the voices rise. Peace is freedom in each other's eyes. It ain't about changing the soul you got, not shaking the roots to fit one pot. It's truth telling, soft hearts, strong minds, boundaries wrapped in love that binds. Saying, I see you and letting you be. No pressure to mirror what you see in me. Peace is permission, not demand. To dance your rhythm, take your stand. Be your voice without the fear. That difference means you disappear. It circles within like stars above, held together by honest love. Peace ain't one song, it's a sacred tune. Many hearts dancing under one moon. Not a perfect ring, but a woven sky where your truth can live and so can mine. Let the circles turn, let the voices rise. Peace is freedom in each other's eyes. So what if peace tastes lame, this sweet, but many truths where strangers meet? Not kumbaya, but presence true, a circle of being that honors you. So what if peace ain't the same as sweet, but many truths where strangers meet? Not kumbaya, but presence true, a circle of being that honors you.
It doesn't sound like it. Try this.
Hello?
Oh,
Okay.
there you go. There you go. Awesome.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, I'm Amanda. Are you supposed to ask a question or am I just introducing?
No, well,
Or-
what I asked him to do was to just kind of give general overview of creativity and how it shows up for you
Sure, sure.
and what
Um,
it means for you.
yeah, so this song, it's quite a story because it's actually I'm gonna start with I'm just gonna say that 4 years ago, I am a writer, and my writing career 4 years ago was actually going up, and I was receiving a lot of opportunities with magazines and blogs. I was taking whatever I could, and writing all sorts of things in education and parenting. Now, when I go back to that, it's kind of interesting because a lot of the things I wrote, I don't even agree with anymore. But that was my job, and I was doing all that. And then I was going through, I ended up, not to get too intimate, went through a divorce, which I consider the catalyst for starting my spiritual growth. Um, During that time, I could not function in the writing way that I used to because I was healing. And so I took a break, and my words were kind of gone for a little while I was navigating inner work. And I realized that a big part of my healing was when I finally could get back after I got the outside help and everything, I was able to start writing my poetry again. But it was not the way I used to write, because I used to write like 20, like 10 articles, like it was insane, like so much. But that's not the way I could do anymore. So I realized there was healing in writing this poetry about my healing, but I also knew that I could only do it a little at a time. And I ended up doing one poem a week for 2 years, and I would put it on my Medium blog, and they were in chronological order. So the poems were in chronological order. And I realized that's kind of the 4 books that I have done in the past are actually chronological poems of my life. That's the way I write. I call them chapters. So they're poems that are done. But this one was a very different one that I wrote because it was about my spiritual journey and healing. And it was it wasn't for anybody else at that point, even though I was putting it out there. It was the first writing that was actually like deep from my soul. It was not to get views on a blog. It was not to get another job. It was purely for healing. And so I wrote that, realized it was basically a book, finally got the effort to take them all and put them in a Word doc. But from there, I could not go back and edit it because it was like opening up all the wounds. So I let it sit there. I came in here one time and I'm like, I'm going to publish my book. And I said it, but then I left it in the Word doc. And it stayed in the Word doc. And it wasn't until this summer when I take my kids. I'm originally from Vermont, and I take my children to Vermont, and I'm very blessed that I'm able to be with my family, who offers me a ton of support I usually don't have as a single mom here. So during that time, my parents were helping with the kids, and I was meditating a lot more. It was this beautiful return home, spiritual return home, where I was meditating more, I was grounding more. I had help with the children. It was more of an inner reflection. And one time, as I'm meditating, just the book kept on coming up. And then I stumbled across this app, which was AI music. And when I first saw that, I'm like, that is scary. That scares me. That's a little wild. And I looked into it and I just kind of like let it go. And then I was walking, I was meditating. And AI music, by the way, is where you can take lyrics, you can customize lyrics, and it actually will create a song for you, and you can edit and add music. It's a very different experience than like a traditional album, because it's like co-creating. I consider it co-creating with something else. But I realized with that, you still need a human. And at first I got the idea to take my poems. I'm like, what I can do is I can't edit a book right now, but what I can do is I can maybe go through and take 12 poems, and I can customize them into lyrics, transform them into lyrics, and transform them into music and bring them to life. And I'm like, this all sounds a bit out there, but for some reason I feel like that could be really healing, because music is so healing. So I hesitated, because at first with AI, I was like, I wanted to make sure that I'm like, is this my work? I went through this whole process, and I had to look at like the copyrights, and I had to like, and then I kind of realized, I was like, I'm doing this for me. At that point, it wasn't even for an album for other people. It was just for my healing. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it for my healing. Where it goes from there, I don't know. And so I put it together, took the poems, really did drafts of music, had to learn the whole system, had to take each song, and would meditate and ground to make sure it was the song that I wanted. If it wasn't, I would start from scratch and start another one. And it's the whole process I could describe. It would be a whole other way to describe it. But basically, it was my words from my poems, in 12 poems, that then I went and had it transformed with my own writing and drafts with an AI, and then put it into AI music. And then from there had to put it through an editor to decide what kind of music, what genre, what voices, and had to put it all together from there. And the whole thing, it was interesting, because it's like, some people, I feel like it could be like, oh, you press a button, and that was actually not the case. The poetry alone took hours, so the original poetry, and then the learning about it and everything. And so it ended up being a bunch of hours, but I was able to do it in Vermont when I had help. And this is what came to be. And I might be babbling, so bear with me, but this is what came to be. And it ended up, that album, propelling me into the healing I needed at that time, to just ground and meditate to my poetry that was like brought to life. And each song, actually, when I listen to it, brings up for me, like puts me in the moment of my healing, if that makes sense. And now when I'm going through something, as we know, patterns, right, come up. If there's a pattern that's similar to something that I went through in one of those songs, it's almost like I know immediately what song to go to. And I go to that song, and then I go out and I either ground or I meditate. And that for me has been one of the most profound healing experiences for me with the sound and the music associated with memory, I guess is the way to say that.
Yeah.
So that was really long. I hope it wasn't too long, but thanks for letting me share.
I
That's
just amazing.
gra- ground. So grounding is, it's interesting. I started grounding like probably 3 years ago. A friend mentioned it, and it is literally walking barefoot in my backyard. Um, I have 2 children. I homeschool. I'm a single mom, so I couldn't just like leave them. So to get my exercise and everything, I started to do grounding, and a friend actually referred me to a documentary on YouTube about grounding, which was fascinating to me. And I'm like, and I'll be honest, when I first saw it, I'm like, this sounds a bit out there, but hey, what do I have to lose? And so I started doing it in my backyard every night at sunset and got into this habit of, and it has transformed my life. And I can't express it except the fact that it grounds me. So that's all I can say about that.
I love
Thanks
it.
for asking me.
Thank you, Amanda. We're going to pass over to Cole now. Isn't that amazing? I mean, you've never written music before. Never wrote music before, right? Poetry, like, I just think that's incredible. You know, somebody take their creativity and mold it that way and create something so beautiful. And it's a whole album, and did you put a scan code somewhere so people can find it?
If there's a link, there's a link. And when I put the album out, I struggled with like payment because I'm like, I feel honestly icky is the only word I could think of. I feel icky with charging for this right now. And so what I did is I put it on free for Bandcamp. It's on Bandcamp. There's a link and you can go listen to it. But then I put a donate button if you want to donate something. But it is by choice. So it's actually free on Bandcamp with a donate
Thank
button.
you. And you can check out her writing on Medium as well. Yeah. Fabulous. And now Cole. So let me tell you about Cole. Cole sits back there super quiet. You had no idea he's there most of the time, even, right? Because everything is running so smoothly. You notice the tech team when it's not going as smooth, right? But Cole is a multidisciplinary creative who blends fruit carving, poetry, photography, and digital design. His work reflects healing through expression, transforming cultural pressures of perfection into art that embraces chaos, play, and discovery. Don't you like that idea, right? Of taking all those things that are not quite perfect and turning them into something beautiful. Whether carving a swan from fruit or capturing Danbo stepping out of its box, Cole shows that creativity doesn't require perfect tools, only what's already in your hands and heart. He invites others to step beyond fear and uncover the masterpieces within. And I'll give you the clicker. So tell us about your art, because your art, I think, is a little bit unusual and super fun.
All right. So when Cindy asked me to whether or not I'd be willing to be in the panel, I was like, which one of the 12 to 15 art stuff that I do should I pull? So one of them is photography. So telling the story by using photos. If you're familiar with the song "If" by Bread, there is a line there that I really like. Just one line. It says, "If a picture paints 1,000 words." So this one is my personal project. This was when I first came out of my got out of the coop. I flew the coop, and this is Danbo. So Danbo is derived from the Japanese word danboru, which is called cardboard, and he is made out of Amazon boxes. And this one actually blew up probably 10 years ago. He was all over social media, so I figured I'd make one. I found a template and I made him. So this is more like a metaphor for my growth, me stepping out of the box. So the picture at the bottom right was him staring out of the window, and then I looked out of the window and I saw a mushroom. So I was like, okay, well, let me step out and put him on a mushroom. So on the left side, you see him pointing at the mushroom, and then he got on top of the mushroom, made sure that it's stable, So he found out that it is stable, so he rested and he's like, okay, I'm comfortable now. And then later on, he said, oh, you know what? Let me explore more. So then he pointed, see, he saw that big leaf, and then his journey continues. So I enjoy the fact that you can tell stories just by photos.
It's kind of like Where's Waldo? Something. I mean, what's Waldo doing? What's Danbo doing these days?
Yeah, so Danbo is I will 3D print a Danbo instead of just made out of paper.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I found that one when I was scrolling through all of my photos. I was like, I forgot about this one, and then I was like, you know what? Let me use that one. So I was actually born and raised in the Philippines. I forgot to add that in my bio. And growing up, we had very limited tools, so I just kind of make do with what I have.
Mhm.
Which brings me to which brings me to this. So this was an inspiration when I was watching YouTube and I saw fruit carving. I was like, you know what, I want to do that. Why not? And if you can see on the left side, you can see a knife that is wrapped in paper towel because I did not have the proper tools, but I can still make do. Um, yes, yes, definitely. So don't let lack of tools limit you from making something that is beautiful. So I do love metaphors. So I'm going to pull the ugly duckling and the beautiful swan metaphor, where they thought the ugly duckling was just ugly because it's different, but it's not. It grew up to be a swan.
Mm, wonderful.
So for this one, I wanted to also mention that art is very messy and very sticky. And from don't play with your food and don't make a mess to embrace the sticky chaos. I like doing that because growing up, it's just like, don't make a mess. But now it's like, you know what? I am embracing that mess. I'm starting a rebellion and making this beautiful masterpiece,
So you're doing all the things you were told not to do.
pretty much. And yep. And to me, it's very healing because when you're told not to do something, and now I'm just like, you know what? I can do it. I'm an adult. I'm gonna do this.
I can play with my food.
I can play with my food. I can make a mess. So on top of other things, my main creative outlet right now is writing because it is very accessible. I have my phone, so if I think of something, I just type it on my notes. Sometimes I will create a poetry during lunchtime, which is great. And yeah,
You got your other one?
yeah. Do I have another one?
You do.
Oh yeah, I do. So another thing with the whole mess situation is painting, and painting is very messy. If I can get this one to work, maybe. It is very different.
I'd
I think Rich is
have
helping
to.
me out.
Tech support sitting here on the stage.
Keep going.
Let me see.
I don't know why it's not.
Sometimes it's there.
Okay,
We go.
thank you, Rich. All right, so another one that I enjoy doing is painting 3D things. So this one is just some of my few paintings. So fun story. The two people on each side of this one, that's my sister on the left side, and that is my brother-in-law on the right side. And they decided to do a costume wedding. It's like a really fun wedding. So my brother-in-law 3D printed all of those, the whole armor. He 3D printed it, and he asked me if I can paint it. So that's why I'm using that one as an example, and I got permission from them. Cindy was the one who.
And guess who officiated the wedding? In my mask. I meant to bring it and I forgot it. It's so cool. 3D mask. Mhm.
Yeah, so he 3D printed all of them, and I painted it. So the middle one I paint a lot of D&D minis. I love doing it. It's different from the 2D, and it's I don't know, it's more satisfying to me than 2D painting.
Isn't that amazing? That this stuff is being made out of printers, like 3D printing. It's just, it is wild.
Yeah, I was
Yeah, go
go
ahead,
ahead.
question.
Someone that within about 20 years, they'll be doing this with organs, tissues.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
They'll be able to make new organs.
They
I,
actually make 3D printed casks now too. It's more breathable. And there's a YouTube channel that I see here and there. He would make his own prosthetics. Yeah. But that's another thing that I've been doing lately. I don't have photos because usually when I make something and 3D printed, I usually give it away. But that's one of the things that I'm currently um, doing too, is designing some 3D uh, fidget toys. Yeah.
mm,
I do. I was gonna print one this morning, but my 3D printer decided no.
aw,
But next time.
another date. Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Yay. Yes. Yay. Give it up for Cole. Give it up for Cole. I love it. Now for Tiffany. And Tiffany's on our board. I don't know how many of you know that. And here's another person, single mom, 4 kids, works full time, goes to school, and has time to do all kinds of creative stuff. So, Tiffany is a graduate of Human Services Applied Science, a Reiki master, and she just graduated too from
Friday.
just got her.
Friday.
Mhm. Her journey of self discovery through art, writing, and healing practices inspired her to help others like herself. With a passion for blending emotional intelligence and holistic healing, Tiffany creates resources and tools that guide individuals in building their own personal foundations of social, emotional practices to navigate and thrive in today's world. She's currently focused on supporting families by developing tools for children and plans to expand her work into more diverse areas of healing and growth. You're up. Tell us about your
Hi.
work.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tiffany. Right now, I have my workbooks that I've made. What came about that for me was I have 4 children. I'm a single mother, and growing up was not very easy. My mother did not have resources available to her. Whenever I became a parent myself, I likewise didn't have those same resources. And it took a lot of really hard work for me to be able to find the tools and the techniques that I needed to be able to shift my perspective and my mindset from what I was raised with into a new way of doing things. And changing that paradigm was very hard for me. And it was very difficult. It took very many years prior to my healing journey and finding Center for Spiritual Living and having more access to things. So, in doing that, I realized that I'm not the only one. There's a lot of parents that are going through the exact same thing. Um, and I wanted to make it a little bit easier to be able to share the things that I was learning so it would make it easier for other people. And that's how these workbooks came about. I worked on them with my kids. We went through and I would think, okay, this is the idea we're going to go with, and then I would work with them on it to see if it was actually beneficial and if it would actually help other kids, if kids were even interested in things like that. And then we came to, and we have them now. So that's really fun. I have a lot of other ideas and stuff for other workbooks based on things that personally helped me on my journey as a mother. Um, so in the future, but right now I was really focused on the children aspect. I know I have more slides. I
You
don't know
you
how to.
do have
You
more
can.
slides.
You can. So whenever I first started my personal healing journey, um, art was not something that was not appreciated. It wasn't encouraged as a child. My mother is an amazing artist. She's also a bit of a narcissist. So, in that sense, it was if you weren't as good as her, don't do it at all. So I didn't do it at all. I've never painted before. About 3 years ago, I started painting.
Is that after foundations class?
No, it was before foundations, and that's why foundations. When I took the foundations class, I did a 4-panel canvas um, to for my final project, which is not listed here. I'm sorry. It was hard to see if it was on the thing. It's in Jamaica, though, hanging in a wellness international artist. Thank you. Hanging in a wellness center there with your Phoenix is Rising. But so I did start doing some art. Like Cole, I started to do things that I was told not to do. And it was really fun. The sunflower one was my first painting I ever did. It was at a paint and sip in a sunflower field, so it was really fun. And then this bottom corner one, the pink one that looks kind of crazy, I co-created it with the rain. I put some paint onto a canvas, pouring down rain outside, stuck it out underneath there, shook it around a little bit, came back outside, let it dry, and saw what we could make out of it, and we made some flowers. And then some of the other stuff that I've made. That's that's Pammy's painting. I made it for Pammy. It's hanging in her house. All of my stuff just goes everywhere.
I love it. Oh, and here's another one who likes to play with her
Yes,
food.
I like to play with food. You guys are very aware of my cookies. Uh, brownies now. Now we've moved on from cookies to brownies. Thank you. But with my kids, I also wanted to, and I didn't want them to have to experience the same things that I did as a child. A lot of the same um, things as don't play with your food, you're here to eat, don't waste, like different things like that. So I wanted to make food fun for my kids. I wanted to break the cycles that were ingrained in me as a kid. So for holidays, we do special holidays. I think the middle one is from Valentine's Day. We have roast bacon and heart-shaped waffles. We have a banana pudding cake. That one's fun. And we have certain special days, like we have Fun Fridays sometimes. So we'll make different fun things. It's cotton candy with sparkling juice. When you put it inside, watch it fizz. It's really fun. We've done things like the mashed potato mountain, and you pour the gravy on top to watch it overflow down into the dino nuggies. So we have a lot of fun with our food. We've done tabletop nachos. I'm encouraging a mess with my kids. We're having fun with a lot of things. And a lot of my healing has been through breaking those cycles that I was raised with by just having fun with my kids and doing all the stuff that they want to do and being able to communicate with them to find those things and just doing things that I want to do as a kid. And now I get to, and my kids are like, oh my gosh, how did you think of it? 30 years. We've been thinking of this for 30 years, and now we can do it. There's no one telling us no.
Ah, love it. Look, give it up for Tiffany.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. So, does anyone have any questions for any of our three very diverse artists? Go ahead, Norma.
My question is for Amanda. So, Amanda, I can only imagine that your process for the production of the album was very similar to kind of like what you would use for synthesized instruments via like GarageBand or something like that, where you don't have an actual instrument or you don't play an instrument and you're using a computer to give you that music, right? Same kind of deal. So, if you had an artist that looked at you and said, uh, is it real music? Or this isn't real music, how would you then respond to that?
That is such an awesome question. So it's interesting because how I would respond to that is, in my view, it is real music. And I had to go through a process. This question actually brings up a whole process for me, because at first, after I made the album, I was like, I don't know if I should share this. And I didn't know if I should share it because, first of all, it was for me and my healing. Second of all, it was co-created with AI, which is very controversial right now. and controversial as a writer myself. And I had to go through a process with that. And I actually, with my process, what I realized, I'm like, wait a second, so this is helping me. This has helped me. And this is beautiful. And this creation is real. And how we got to it, yes, is a very different, but it's still real and it's still valid. And I had to go back to the fact of also being like, this does not replace real like the other music as well. And but I'm like, but it also has its own place. So I came to this realization that there's space for both of them. So thank you for that question.
I think about the emotional aspect of things, and that's how we tied in, right? The expression that it helps you move emotion through. So who are we to say this is legitimate or this isn't? Did it do what you set out for it to do, which was to help move the emotion and promote your healing journey? So kudos to you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. And the other questions, Grady's got a question. You can ask them both.
I have two questions, one for Cole and one for Tiffany. Cole, can you give me the Reader's Digest version to how 3D printing works?
Yeah, so there are different types of 3D printers. I have two different types. So one of them is resin. So resin uses light to create that 3D, to print something. And then the other one that I
Do
had,
you have to provide the material for it to print?
yes,
like,
yes.
okay,
So
so
I
you-
have the resin printer, and then I have they call it FDM. It uses spool of filament, so plastic filament, and then it just you 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 send it to the computer. I mean, you send it from the computer to the printer, and then it just goes around. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty neat.
No, I'm the least artistic person.
You need to.
Yeah, I'm the least artistic person in the room. Yeah. My art is in sports. Tiffany, the rough draft, the words end up in the book with this nicely illustrated book, but what was the rough draft? What did you write your ideas down on? And then how did you get it from whatever you wrote it down on, a napkin or a piece of paper, to an illustrated book in 5 minutes or less?
That is a good question. I think I just had this idea in my head. And I just kind of sat down and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do this. This is what I'm gonna do. And I thought of something that would be an overall denomination of like understanding for children, which is the alphabet. All kids know the alphabet. So you're already starting on a basis for which kids understand. And then I wanted to build on that each level of each page to be able to expand upon that greater to where they're really able to understand it. The one coloring books that I have a boys and a girls coloring book. It starts with a letter and then it has an affirmative word. And then that affirmative word has a correlating picture to it. So they can see the word, see the picture, and it has that clicking. And then the next one is just an affirmation with that word again. And then it is an activity and different things like that to really connect it all back. I have a children's book, which is for all children, boy, girl. And that one goes a little bit deeper. It's for a little bit older. It has it has so much. It has the alphabet in it as well. It has coloring pages. It has spots in it for you to, if anything's coming up for you, you can write it down. You can express it there. It has journal entries, so it asks you a question about the affirmative word that it started with. Joyful. Is there a time? When was the last time you felt joy? When was the last time you noticed someone else experiencing joy? So there was a lot of questions and things in there to get the kids to think not only of themselves, but for the people around them as well, and that they also have feelings and they're also experiencing things. And that's kind of how I tied in the social emotional learning to really help kids understand empathy and compassion without saying this is what you need to do because you need to. I wanted them to understand that there's a reason for it and to come to that determination on their own and not because someone simply told them that they had to.
Nice. So, go ahead. There you go.
This question is for all of you. I'm an advocate of living your passion and making a living your passion. Have you found a way to combine the two?
For me, so right now I am on Amazon and Etsy. You can get a digital download version, or you can get a physical copy. I also have copies here of some of them. And I'm really excited to expand upon that in different avenues so I can help as many people as possible. So that's how I'm choosing to do that.
I love that. I love that question. Right now, I actually write for 2 neighborhood magazines and a content coordinate, um, and that is one of my passions that actually works right now. I do I do want to expand. I have this book. I still have this book, and there is an opportunity in that book, I do feel, and in the music. And I actually already have 2 songs for the next album, so there's that. But the big thing is this book. It is sitting there, and I've talked with Cindy about it, and I need to get it moving. Um, and I have done self-publishing in the past, and I've also been a part of publishing companies. And I'll just say it, I'm at a point where figuring out which way to go with that, I'm still navigating. And the answer will come, but that is a really good point that I do hope that I feel like there's opportunities in my books and music to make more money, in addition to what I'm doing now. So that's my answer. Thanks for asking.
So right now, I actually work at the college, and I'm an instructional designer, but I also love making the 3D things. So that one is in the works. So I'm still designing a few things that I can start selling. Thank you for asking that. Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah.
You know, I have a question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Donna. I'm not going to jump
No,
in.
my question was on the same vein because I was wondering if there was a way that we could online, if you have a social media platform or some way online for people to be able to get access to the product. And that way they can, not just the ones that are here personally, but those online watching.
I'm sure we can put that in we'll put in the newsletter. Maybe this next one, as a wrap up for this month, and where folks can get your stuff. My question was like, how do you make the time? Like, how do you do this? I'm one of those, very practical. To Elaine's point, like, you got to make money, right? You got to do that. Like, I have all these things I have to check off my list first before I let myself have fun. I'm getting better with that, right? But how do you, especially, you work full time, you're going to school, you're raising kids, and still making time? Like, how do you do it? Is it because you have to do it? Is it like what is that? What is that for you? Tiffany's laughing. She just must be.
No, I have no idea. My first joke I said to Amanda was like, I'm mentally unwell. That's how it happened.
No.
I do work full time, and that's anywhere from 40 to 50 hours a week. Um, I work for the state, so we're mandatory overtime currently. I have 4 kids, and they're all in sports and activities and varying in age from 5 to 10. Um, I just finished my AA degree, and I start my bachelor's next month. Um, I don't, I don't, I don't, I'm like, I volunteer here a lot, a lot. There's a lot of stuff that I do here as well. Yeah, the sleep thing is just, it's non-existent. I do try to factor in my time really well. Like Cindy said, I know I've said before, I have a really strict schedule that I stand by. It doesn't leave much time for other things, but I mean, I do try to work in time for me, not just like for doing more work creatively, but also as in play. And I do prioritize playtime with my kids, as I mentioned before. And that doesn't, doing things like that doesn't feel like more work. I feel like, I'm really doing something that's aiding to the work that I'm doing. But I'm doing it in a fun way, and I'm really growing while I'm doing it. So a lot of the work that I do doesn't feel like work, and I think that's what empowers me to do more work.
What that just brought up for me is the idea of sharpening the saw. Y'all know that story of the guy, the woodcutter, and he's cutting town trees with the same saw, and somebody stops by and says, "Dude, like, sharpen it." He says, "I don't have time for that. I'm too busy cutting trees." Right? But you get it. Like, you have to sharpen the saw. And when you sharpen it, everything else goes so much faster. So maybe that's the piece that you all are doing. Sharpening the saw, right? Yeah, yeah.
I I'm a recovering perfectionist,
Mm.
and now when you see me, you'd be like, really? However, I used to be like going a million miles an hour, and I lived that way for like 38 years, and it got me nowhere but tired. So when I started going through my healing, I actually had to really take a step back and focus on recovery and rest. And I homeschool my children, and honestly, when people ask my philosophy for homeschooling, I actually say recovery and rest. And it's very different outlook than some people have, but it has made it possible for us to really step back. And I know Tiffany was talking about paradigms and parenting, and that's something we're navigating day by day, like day by day. And so for me, we it's been the only thing I can say is if you've ever seen, I relate to movies, so Groundhog Day is one of my favorite movies because he starts off and he's all like driving trucks off of things. It's a mess, right? And then he gradually just picks little things each day to make his day better until he gets this day to what he needs it. And so for 3 years now, that's what I've been doing with my day and my children. And we still are, we're evolving, and it's still not perfect, but we are taking it day by day and just trying to improve. I always say if we can improve 1% each day, 100 days, that's 100%. That's a big percentage. And we've come so far. We still have a long ways to go. I am in a recovery program. I am still healing. My children are still healing. We've been through a lot, but we take it day by day. And if we take that 1%, if I improve that 1% each day, then that's cool with me. So that's the answer.
Mm.
And then as for me, so I actually was fortunate enough to change my work schedule from 7 to 3:30 instead of 8 to 4:30. Uh, so the one of the reasons why I'd rather start working early in the morning is because I can come home earlier and then I have time to play. Uh, most of the most of the time, as soon as I get home, I play with my food.
Mm.
That's what I do. I just experiment on food. And then for and then like what I mentioned a while ago, I have my phone all the time, so writing is my main creative outlet, and I just take my phone out and start writing in the sometimes when I'm at work, I'm just like, okay, something just sparked. I have to write this one, and I have to look at it later. So I just put it on my notes and then start thinking about it later on. Uh, but yeah,
Yeah, that has me thinking too about how things have evolved. When I think writing, I'm still thinking paper, pen, pencil, like that. He's writing into his phone, speaking into his phone, like how, things are changing. And it's, in some ways a lot easier. Certainly, yes, definitely more efficient. Definitely more efficient.
and my brain is faster than my hand when I'm writing. So I'm like, I'm just gonna type it or just talk on the phone and let it do the speech text.
Yeah, wow. Folks here, out of the box, aren't we here? CSL Ocala? Yes, yes, yes. Any other, yes, go ahead, Casey.
Yes, thank you. Uh, I have to tell you, I'm just so moved by all four of the panel, the creativity that you've expressed and shared with us today. I love the authenticity that you were able to share on a very personal way. Recovery, this recovery is each one of you in your own way. It's how we look at things that somehow were hurtful and that we've transcended and transformed them into such a positive, creative source for us and others. I love that you're making some financial compensation for your creativity. It's and the fluidity in each of you. Your experiences are so different, and yet there's something that's so ground. Yeah, I love the word grounding. Now I can't wait to watch that YouTube. I've taken notes. I'm not texting. I always take notes. And I have a question for Cole because I couldn't hear you had said based on your background, and I didn't know if you had a professional background other than all the creative things. And then I'm looking at your name, Cole Diaz, and this Japanese influence. And I said, well, Cole Diaz, I don't think that's Japanese. I wonder ancestrally or reincarnationally, this beautiful experience of expression that you have. Each one is so unique. Thank you for this opportunity. It's so broadening. Thank you.
You gonna say where you're from?
Yes,
You might not have heard that.
I'm actually from the Philippines. So even though I have a Spanish last name, I'm from Asia. I'm born and raised, so I moved here when I was 13.
And that's why he said few resources. So you learn how to make things.
I speak 2 different dialects, Tagalog and Kapampangan.
Wow, wow. I know he hasn't said that yet. He plays music too. Yes, yes.
12 out of the 15 things that I do, I was like, I have to pick something.
You're right. Well, go ahead. One more, another question, Stephanie.
All of you, but Tiffany, I just wanted to speak to what an inspiration you must be for your children. So you may be running around doing a whole heck of a lot of things, but they're watching you and you're teaching them and you're incorporating everything that you do and you're incorporating your entire family into that realm of fun and creativity. And boy, don't I wish that I had a family that I could have grown up in that. So many of new mothers I speak to are doing these inclusive things and bringing their children to see or do whatever they do, and how lucky your children are. And of course, also, Amanda, with having your kids right outside or whatever it is that you do in your healing, they're watching you heal. And in my day, something happened, you didn't talk about it. Okay, I got divorced too. Nobody would talk about it. My mother wouldn't talk about it. Like, I got divorced. It didn't work. What's the big deal? But you don't talk about it in the family. And a couple of other things that went on when I was a teenager. And you couldn't talk about them. But you're including everybody, And Cole, I want so much for that little box guy to come to my door with great big packages, on his shoulder like this. I think that would be so cool.
I love it. Love it. Yeah. All right. We'll take one more question and then we'll wrap it over here. Angela. We're gonna do
I just have a brief question for Tiffany and Cole. Cole, I'm not sure if I misheard you or heard you clearly earlier when you said that one of the 3D printers that you have is a resin printer and it uses light. I can't quite wrap my head around that concept. Could you maybe elaborate just a little bit on that?
So I couldn't also wrap my head around it before. I was like, how is it doing this? So when I finally got it, so the 3D printer uses liquid resin, and it's the type of resin where you use UV light for it to cure. So it has the plate at the top. It lowers itself down, and then the little lights will activate depending on which layer it's in, and then that's when it starts curing the resin, and it just goes by layer.
Fascinating. Yeah, that's. I will definitely have to look more into that
Wow.
because that is really cool. And Tiffany, I just was curious because with your, I'm assuming your children are at younger ages now, and the activity books that you've worked with them. And I know you said you've thought about branching out. Is that something that as your children grow that you'll continue to do activity type work or books for them, like as they get into the preteen and then the teenage ages as well? Because I have a teenager who's unfortunately he's almost out of the nest. So
Definitely. Whenever I mention branching out, I will definitely make stuff when my kids get of that age. My oldest is 10, so she assumes that she's like 18. She's a typical girl. So yes, I made my kids' activity book with her in mind. So yes, I would. If I got around more teenagers to know what they really need, I would definitely be able to do that a lot sooner. I could use my brains and my ideas and critical thinking and try to make something sooner than that. But I think authentically, I'd be able to do something a lot better whenever she is reaching those age areas. Whenever I mentioned breaching out or branching out, um, I mean as much as for an adult audience, because going through the things I went through. I've went through domestic violence. I've been in abusive homes growing up. Um, I've experienced a lot of not nice things in my lifetime, and I've really tried to change and grow out of that, which is why I do a lot of the things that I do, and I parent my kids the way that I do. So I do appreciate what you said. Um, so I want to do something for adults because not only was it difficult for me as a mother to help them. We went through a lot of really disciplinary, like they were going through it really hard, especially after me and their father split up. It was very tough for them. So getting back to a state of grounding and just being a new way of living was really hard. So I wanted to do something like that. But for myself personally, it was a really big journey to come to those decisions and that paradigm shift of changing things. So I want to be able to help mothers as well going through that same thing and trying to figure out, am I doing the right thing? Is this, what do I do now? So not so much just for children, but for the mother as well. And it's going to be hard for me to dive into that because it's going to be reopening a lot of those wounds and things that I've already experienced. But I do have a lot of outlines and a lot of things starting. So yes, I will be branching out for more an adult aspect of things as well.
very cool.
And I'm affirming that you've been through the hard part, right? The hardest part was back there, right? Now we're going into another area. All right. Any other questions? Well, this was awesome. Thank you to our introverts. Yeah. This is my part of my creativity, right? Is putting the PowerPoints together and the ideas for our talks and things like that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So here's just a couple of closing quotes I thought were fun that go along with our theme this month. Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up. Right, said Pablo Picasso. And then the arts are not a way to make a living, although they can be, right? They are a very human way of making life more bearable, as we've also seen here today. And then art washes away from the soul the dust of everyday life. So whatever your art is, and even if it's not this kind of an expressive art, like Grady said, his art is in athletics, being outside, whatever your thing is, whatever makes your heart sing, do more of that because we're sharpening the saw. I think that's my big takeaway from this today is making time to sharpen that saw. And then here's just a little affirmation for you all. I live in joy, I create in freedom, and I thrive in harmony with life. Y'all want to say it? I live in joy, I create in freedom, and I thrive in harmony with life. And I think we have another song. We're going to close with this portion with another one of Amanda's songs.
Grew up near the creeks and pines, Vermont skies and riverside. Watch the waters whisper peace, learn the art of sweet release. They don't beg, they don't pretend, they don't break and they don't bend. They don't question where they're led, they just flow instead.
And when I place my feet inside, I feel the hush, the great divine. The current hums a quiet tune like a memory from the moon.
Flow like rivers, let it be. No need to fight what's meant to be. Let the water guide your soul. Surrender is the highest goal. Turn your faith to what is true. The stream already carries you. Flow, flow, flow like rivers do. I used to climb upstream alone, chasing things I'd never owned. But the water taught me grace to move with rhythm, not with grace. My children now walk by my side. The river's path, deep and wide. The lessons come, but not too fast. Wisdom lies where currents pass.
Sometimes I hear them, ancestors between the mossy stones. Trust this Finn child, trust the way, the past, the now, the next. They're clay molded in the same old stream. Their voices ripple through my dream.
Flow like rivers, let it be. No need to fight what's meant to be. Let the water guide your soul. Surrender is the highest goal. Turn your face to what is true. The stream already carries you. Flow, flow, flow like rivers do. They twist, they widen, sometimes dry, but rivers never question why. They shift and shimmer through the rain. They teach that loss is not in vain. No blaming wind, no cursing stone. They find the way and make it home. I've learned to honor every turn and let the inner compass burn. Flow like rivers, let it be. No need to fight what's meant to be. Let the water guide your soul. Surrender is the highest goal. Turn your face to what is true. The stream already carries you. Flow, flow like rivers do. Flow like rivers do.
Woo! Anyone want to say anything in closing? Go ahead. Let y'all just close out. Whatever you want to say. Anything you want to say.
I just want to say thank you for giving us this platform to step out of our box, pun intended, with Danbo.
I just really appreciate this opportunity. It's uh, it's really helpful with starting to move my creativity to come out again when it's been kind of, and we're getting it flowing again. So it's been very healing. So thank you.
I appreciate the ability to practice my public speaking because I am terrified of it. I also want to say that creativity is more than just something that you make or do. A lot of the stuff that we did are physical things, but Norma even said that she's not creative this in the middle of this, but creativity is in food and different things that you make and do, and don't think that your macaroni cups are not a creative blessing to this world. um, Even the way you plate food and doodles that you do, and everything, it can be a creative outlet if you just change your mindset and really look to it as something that you're doing as creative.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. I'm going to give them another big round. All right. This was fun, wasn't it? Y'all like to know what the rest of our community has. Maybe we take turns just having different people come up, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, y'all over there, you're going to be up here next, maybe, right? All right. Let's see. What do we have next? Yeah. Why don't you come up, Donna? Why don't you come up? Been gone for a week. We'll let you. Stay up here.
We just
We'll
drove
just
back
sit.
in. And we drove nonstop since yesterday at 10 when we left Kansas City. And Norma and Keith, big up yourself, because they drove, took turns, and slept and drove so that we could be here. And we actually made it, so that's nice. The others had to go home. They were like, we can't do it, we can't do it. We're a little closer in town, so imagine this, if you will, the Armada, an SUV, with 7 grown adults crammed in, going across country for 23 hours, stopping every hour and a half, because all of us either suffer from chronic back pain or leg pain or my knee or whatever, and we took turns with the comfortable seats so that our people would be okay. And we even had the magic elixir from Norma for the rub, the muscle rub, through that whole thing. And it was the most wonderful experience in that vehicle for 23 hours. Our community, Center for Spiritual Living Ocala, is magic, y'all. I don't know if y'all even know this, but Diana came from another center and was like, she dropped right into the love vibe and just was drenched in it. And all the musicians, they're like, you guys are special. And it was her birthday. So we were singing to her happy birthday. The entire conference, Karen Drucker got her up on stage and we gave her a standing ovation, and she had to stand there and take it. She had to learn as a musician how to do that. Keith wrote music, had a songwriting class with the experts and brought back some really good information so that we can start really producing our brand of music here. And the joyful expressions that we have, all these different ways that we express, people are just elated. It's like manna from the sky. So I was so grateful to be here to hear what you guys are doing. And what we did was we got a couple of souvenirs. This one is Reverend Cindy's.
Oh.
Because you weren't able to be with us, so we brought the music to you.
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh.
Figured that whenever you were thinking about
Mhm.
regulating your nervous system,
Oh, my first bowl. Thank
It's your
you.
first
It is. I don't have one.
these bowls are hard to play, so it's
Okay,
gonna. It
all right.
takes, yeah, well, it takes practice, and the thing about these bowls is don't want to break it and be intentional. Yeah, we're gonna work on it.
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
Oh, you sure will. You
I
sure
will. I will
will.
figure it. Thank
And
you.
and the posse bag,
Oh my
of course.
gosh, thank
And everybody said they
you.
loved you. And Karen Drucker said to tell
Aw.
y'all hi. because she was here and she loves the CSL
Wow. Oh
Ocala.
my
So,
goodness. Thank
and
you.
Amy Steinberg said to say hi.
Here,
Lots
next
and lots
one.
of people just said to tell you guys they
Oh,
loved you guys
thank
so much.
you.
And our community, yes. And that's how I became friends with Amy all those very many years ago, upwards of 10 plus years ago. And she considers us family because her mom is here
Yeah.
and, in Gainesville. And so
Yeah,
whenever she
we're
comes
family.
down, she gets to touch into her Ocala family. And to hear them speak about our community, you guys have, it's not just the people who are the musicians up here, it's our community that greets these people. And they remember us and they point us out because Faith Rivera pointed her out and was like, Orlando. And she knew her right away. And yeah. And it's because we have an impact. And I believe that we're shiny people and it just follows us everywhere. Every time we move, every time and get this, on the way back in, we got an accident. Someone hit us on the highway and kept on going. And right behind us, we pulled off, because of course we have to report this. We pulled off. Right behind us, there was a truck driver. And he pulled over immediately and said, I caught everything on dash cam. I will be right here until the police show up. And that young man had that video out. He called the cops. I mean, talk about it, right? God is good. God is good. Very minimal damage. We're all okay, but it's wonderful, wonderful. So I just wanted y'all to know that, our cup is overflowing and we would love to show you pictures and videos and all of that stuff. And
We'll
there
make
is a
day for
drive
that.
with tons of stuff in it. So if you're somebody who just is visual and you want to go on that journey with us, let me know and we'll share the drive link and you guys can just dive in and just have fun with all the videos and pictures and all of that. Because we took videos of the artists and things like that too. So
Let's share our
Yeah.
abundance.
yeah, let's share our
Or
abundance together.
celebrate.
And this is a part of our abundance because we would not have been able to do that as a team had it not been for the generosity of this community. There's just no way. And, yes, we did save a lot of money by doing that drive and putting our bodies through that. But the whole time we felt that because of you guys, we were able to have that opportunity. And it was just incredibly, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. And we can't wait to show you what comes forward and you guys will get a lot more music from us and original music is what we're working on. So very exciting. I invite you now to activate your good by taking your good to your heart, or however you give your good, and maybe saying this affirmation with me as you consider activating that which is coming back to you prosperity wise. It is the nature of life to give of itself, as it is the tree's nature to bear fruit and the flower's nature to bloom. It is my nature to share the gifts of my time, talent, and treasure. I participate in the divine flow of life, giving generously and receiving abundantly. I am blessed and I am a blessing. I am grateful.
And so
It is. And thank you so much for those of you online who are watching this in real time or watching this after this, those who gives via the stars, and there's more and more opportunities as well. If you're one who shares our online presence, and we're going to be developing that more and more, thank you so much to Tiffany bringing in more talent into that to get our online presence, that much more solid for that community. So just hold that. And that way it's available to you guys. If you're not here, and you're, out of town, or if you want to go back and listen again, take more notes. Oh, I didn't catch that thing. Go back, listen online. We have that available for you. And you can definitely send it on, family, friends. My question too, I forgot. Can they order it on Amazon, your book, and mail it to someone else? So we have grandparents. I'm a grandparent, and I have a grandchild in a whole nother house, and I wanted them to get a coloring book. Is it possible for them to get that in their hands? So that way, you know,
It is available on Amazon, and I'm pretty sure Amazon has the capability to send as a gift to a different address. Yes.
awesome. Yes. I just wanted to make sure
All
that was
right.
said. Thank you.
All right.
Yes. I'm sorry?
Pray.
Yes, you can text to Tide 352-320-5110. You set it up one time and it's available to you every time. You just send that amount. And if you'd like to designate your tithe for something, or in your givingness you're saying, I want to give $10,000 towards the roof. Please make sure you designate that. That way our finance team knows where to put that. But please do that from the website. And you can also do like legacy gifts, things like that. Auto tithe is also a thing. When I was nursing, it just came right off of the paycheck and I didn't have to fret and worry about my tithe coming in. So that's also a thing that you can plug into. Just let us know. The finance team will definitely help you with that.
All right.
So let's go ahead and bless
Go
our
ahead.
offerings.
Yeah.
Taking a deep breath in, receiving, just like receive the good and blowing it back out, activating that good back into the planet. It is that same mechanism that we are activating, just recognizing that as people are giving their gifts today, knowing that we cannot outgive the one. The one is always pouring itself in and through and around me and you and everyone. And so it is up to me to receive that gift with ease and grace. I send it back into the flow. Thank you so very much for your tithe and offering, for any prayer requests that may have came in online or will come in the treasure chest, just knowing that the answer already is embedded in the question itself, and the divine highest good knows how to unfold that. We will hold that in divine essence for that prayer partner will sit in that space with you until that comes forward for you, knowing that's also assured. I release it knowing that it's already done, and so it is.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you. Thank you. All right. What else is going on as we close out here? Science of Mind magazine available as always in the bookstore. Newsletter should be coming out sometime the coming week or two. Let's see. And if you're not receiving it, that's the place over there. There's a sign up sheet for the newsletter. What else? What is going on? There is a workshop next weekend. Yes, the page is right here. Do you all remember Mark and Michelle from Encompass Life? They did the iridology, right? So one of their representatives, one of their folks is going to be doing a workshop here next week on Saturday, October 4th from 9 to 1. And it is language, emotions, and well-being. They have a whole system in place. It's $100. I'm not sure it's on there. And that's really a, kind of a discounted price for them. That's kind of special for us here. I did the iridology with Michelle, and we did an hour and a half conversation on just one eye. And probably, I think I would. So go ahead and scan it. It was intense, that hour and a half, just the one eye and the conversation and the attention to the words, that we say. And so language, emotions, well-being, it was really good. I think it's going to be worth the time. So if y'all have time, if you're listening at home, do check in for that workshop. I think it's going to be awesome. Fall Festival coming up on October 25th. Do you want to say anything about it? Is this your baby?
It is not my baby, but it is Pam's baby that I assisted with. We're gonna have a fall festival with we're gonna have some local vendors, and we're gonna have a trunk or treat. We do have a candy donation box if you want to help out with that, and it should be a lot of fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, go on. Yeah, if you want to do a trunk but you don't think that you have the time or don't want to come up with an idea for a trunk, there are on Amazon. You can go on. You can get a whole kit. Type in trunk or treat idea sets, and they will have a whole box set. I am obviously creative, but I do not want to have the time to do that, so I'm getting a bluey one for my
So
car.
a bluey trunk. How cute.
So they have all different types of things on there.
Kids will love that. All right. Volunteer opportunities as always. Blessing our children. We're not going to make them come in here. We will bless them from afar, right? Because they don't come up here. But we'll do ourselves, right? We can do ourselves. And they feel it, and we just honor ourselves. Yes. Hold yourself in this, right? Some of us create with movement. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let
let it shine on, let it in. Shine, 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 shine. You know you want to. Shine, shine.
All shiny, all shiny. All right. We say to everybody, we honor you. We see your light. May it shine on all that you do. And so it is. And so it is. And we close with our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Have a fabulous, fabulous week, everyone. Thanks again to our beautiful panel. Love you all so much. Yay!